Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug. Always a pleasure to be here. I'm Travis Helwig.
I'm Darren Miller.
I'm Vince LaRosa, and I don't believe you one bit, Travis.
Oh, I'm having a great Saturday, Vince. We just lost 1-0 to the good boys from Austin, Texas.
Good old boys.
The good old boys from Austin, Texas. It is our third straight loss as a club. It's our first loss at home. And I think we can for sure answer a question we asked after the first leg of the Columbus game. We are not back by any means. We seem to have had one good game and a series of 1-0 wins or losses. I'm going to get ahead of something and be slightly positive because I'm never positive. I actually enjoyed watching that game more than I enjoyed watching most of the other games we've played this year, especially in the first half. I will say I was complaining that we weren't fun. We were fun for a lot of that game. We didn't get a result, and that's all that matters. And that's what we've been talking about as well. We have to choose what we want to do. I don't know, man. This was a pretty big gut punch. Felt like the team didn't really care all that much. There wasn't any creativity, any urgency. I feel like not a lot of happy things to say after that match besides Under looks incredible. But how are you guys feeling?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, it's like be careful what you wish for. If you were one of the people saying, "I'd rather they lose and it'd be fun to watch," I feel like that's what we got. To your point,
yeah. Let's go back to another thing we brought up in this podcast. There's this box that we have, right? And there's 4 squares, and there's team look good.
Let's do this.
Team don't look good. Team win. Team look like shit. Team lose. Team look good. Team lose. Right? And we've gotten all other boxes except for team look good. Team lose.
Yeah, we made it.
And this
bingo, baby.
It wasn't score. I wouldn't say it was like very like if you had to put it in those boxes and like in the far corner is where it was like the team looked really, really good, yet they still lost. I wouldn't put them that far. But to your point, Travis, like for everyone that was complaining, like, I don't want to just play. I don't want to just park the bus anymore. I want the team to have the ball and I want them to do things that make me excited to watch this team. Well, they did. But they didn't do it to the level that wins them the game. And they gave up one set piece and they weren't able to figure the rest out. And that's what you get. And
as much as we were kind to Hugo last game, that was a save he should have had. That was a difficult save, but it was definitely a save that he could have stopped. And that's a bummer to know after just what a game he had against Columbus the other day. But yeah, I mean, we've been begging for them to try to play with possession, and it is very clear that when they have possession, they don't know what to do in the final third, right? We can pass it around. They clogged up the box. Everyone's double teaming Bouanga. Bouanga is getting very frustrating to watch for me, where it's like, how many times can you just try to plow through 3 defenders? But he's the only one moving towards goal, at least. There's just no creativity in the final third.
Not the only one moving. Yeah, you just talked about how good Under was.
That was true. Under was the bright spot. Darren, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that's really the happy foot is like you get to see that. The one thing we didn't really say out loud last game was like, wow, Under looks incredible, but he didn't have enough chances for, like, there's always a chance that it's like, well, he just happened to, perform well when he was called upon and kind of rise to the occasion. So I'm very happy to see that what we saw was, I think, so far what we can count on from him. That is how he plays, and not just how he played in that one moment. So that's what I'm taking away as far as the happy foot column goes in this game. I'm happy to see that that's going to be something that we're going to see more of.
I think the like dichotomy and the difference is night and day between Under and Denny, right? Like they are both, look, they're still both immensely talented players, but to Travis's point, Denny is getting really frustrating to watch because he has one speed, and the attack we isolate him in moments to allow him that freedom because he is so explosive and he's such a presence and physically imposing and has scored so many goals that he kind of has carte blanche to just do whatever he wants on that side. But the attacks go there and they die. Whereas you watch Under, and Under takes guys on, and then in the moments when he can't, he's able to find the pass that moves the team along, right? And so that's a lot of that is the difference in how the team plays in that final third. When you're in the final third and you're trying to create, one of the ways that you do that is by moving the ball in tempo. It's easier said than done. Like to just say, hey, just pass faster. And I see Mike's comment about XG. We can get to that in a second. But just pass faster. It seems like an easy thing to say, but it's not. You have to be almost on top of what the guy's going to do next. And that's where the really elite teams shine, is they have that ability. LAFC are clearly not anywhere close to that right now. Although I would say Under seems to be, I mean, honestly, guys, I'm watching him and I'm seeing a lot of what I used to see with Carlos Vela.
I was about to make that comparison as well, right? A man who can see the field better than everyone else is finding these passes that seem impossible when you're just watching, and he's landed them. I mean, clearly was the best player on the field for the 60 minutes he was out there. And when he left the field, we had nothing. Same with Abobasi. It felt like Ordaz and Martinez didn't have it today. Martinez missed 2 shots that I think he probably should have scored. Martinez, I think, had a bad game.
My probably biggest sad foot is the subs that came into the game made the game worse.
Yes, 100%.
And those
that goes
guys
for every single one.
Yeah, and those guys have been good this year. So that's disappointing, right? It would be one thing if we were like, roll the dice, see what happens. But we're like, when they came in, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Fresh legs. Those guys have been decisive when they're on the ball, but David Martinez loses the ball within seconds of being on the field and almost gets counterattacked down the field. I don't know if Ordaz touched the ball. Yeboah was, I mean, he was okay. But he didn't, like, again, they didn't affect the game. They didn't make the game better. Artem, again, just okay. Didn't do anything to really wow me, but also didn't, he didn't do anything really bad, but just didn't bring anything. And if you're putting in guys down a goal, you expect something. And not only did they not create a chance, but it got objectively worse. Like, I think a lot of the XG that Mike's pointing to happened when those guys came in. I will caveat it to be in their defense. That was when LAFC was throwing everything up against. And so you're going to have a lot of gaps. You're going to be giving up chances when you're pushing forward like that. But those guys just really did not have it today.
When you go into, like, they have this panic mode, right, at the end of these games where, like you said, they're throwing everything at the goal. And it's obvious to me that it's like they don't have a way of making that successful beyond just like, oh, we happen to finally get one through. So it seems like you either don't end up in that position or the reason why I'm saying that is, like, they seemed content with making that, like, oh, we'll find a way by the end. And it's kind of the downside of what we've been talking about from the beginning of the season, the first couple of games, where it's like you wait until the end, you let one get through. But when you're just like, I don't know, maybe this will work. Like, you either have to have a way of scoring when you're not in panic mode, or a way of scoring when you're in panic mode, and you can decide which way to take the fork in the road. Like, it's just so frustrating to see that. It reminded me of what, at the very least, I guess you could say, it reminded me of like what it was like last couple of seasons when they were who they were and losing. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's an improvement. I don't know.
So maybe we are back.
Yeah.
We're back,
and that's not good.
I would posit this to you guys and to people in the chat, although everyone in the chat seems to have forgotten how bad they played in Columbus, despite getting through. But people saying that this is the worst game. We just watched the worst game. Like, it was in the middle of the week. But to your point, like, do you want a team how do you feel about a game where a team, like, has the ball, they're proactive, and they're just not able to find a goal? Or would you have rather that they sat back and tried to just engineer 1 or 2 chances? Like, LAFC really did try to engineer multiple chances, and they had Austin penned in for large sections of the game. I think that's where it comes from, where I'm like, were we watching the same game? Because to me, at least, that's exciting. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people would rather they just will their way to 1 goal sitting back. Although that's what we were told in the middle of the week that people hated seeing. So if you're LAFC right now, you can't win, and literally you can't win even on the field in the game. But, like, I just don't know. I just don't quite understand it. And I know that it's a fool's errand to ask fans to be reasonable, but, like, don't make me do what are we doing here?
Well, Vince,
it's owned by 12 I have to pay him $20 every time I do it.
He's so litigious.
He is.
It's very frustrating.
He's on top of it. He's eyes everywhere.
Yeah. So Vince, what do you think about What did Austin do anything beyond the threshold of like, we should be able to take care of this? Like, how much should we credit them?
Austin were good defensively. They were smart in the ways they were physical. I would say they're probably one of the most physical teams against LAFC, and they really made it difficult.
We were on the ground a lot.
Yeah, they set up. Basically, what they were doing is they're setting up in 4-4-2, which allows them a lot of coverage through midfield from side to side. Even though offensively they want to get Bukhari out wide and get him forward, but he was selfless enough to put in a real defensive shift. And so what that does, that allows fullbacks to cover our wingers and not have to try to pull double duty. So when you have selfless guys putting in that effort and really putting in a shift defensively, that makes things difficult. And they stuck to the task, and that they were really good in that aspect. And I think if I'm Nico Estevez and I look at that team, and we talked about it kind of in the preview with Swoon Tower, it was like they haven't been good defensively. So I think he might have come in here and mandated, guys, everyone plays against the ball, everyone runs. The thing I want to be more than anything is hard to beat, and then we'll figure out how to put goals in. And the worst thing that could happen to LAFC today was they found a goal through a set piece, not even in the run of play, and then they were just ready to stay in their shape, and that's what they did.
I have a question because I feel like Tim Tillman has become Tim Tillman and Ed Segura. I like saying that both of their shortened versions of their first name. T. Tillman and E. Segura both tend to be the punching bags for this team. Segura obviously didn't play today. Tillman, I think, has certainly lost a step since we loved him last year, but he was getting a lot of flack, I noticed, both in our Discord chat and on social media. And I'm wondering, Vince, what do you think he's doing to elicit that response? Do you think it's fair? And also, what is our midfield doing in general? I thought Jesus had a decent game, but our midfield feels like they're non-existent in a lot of times. What am I missing as a fan watching it?
I don't think Tillman had a bad game, but I guess I'm in the minority there. I mean, he moved the ball along. There was a lot of chances where he's that advanced 8, and he's up near the top of the box, and he's also assisting Under and unlocking the defense and getting, like, Under doesn't get so many of those runs in the first half if Tillman's not over to that side as an option to kind of lure the defense. But what I think fans are seeing is like he's not that super creative player that's going to unlock a defense. And I think a lot of the midfield today, they created, like, their buildup was good. They created moments where, like, if they waited an extra beat or they got a better angle, they could have made the killer pass, but they went too soon with the killer pass or just went with a bad angle. And I think Tillman didn't get caught as much. I actually kind of looked at Delgado, did a couple more times than I would have liked. Igor was trying to play some hero balls that maybe wasn't the right time to do it. But again, this is the hardest thing to do in the sport, to dominate teams with the ball when they're set up and they're in place to block your possession. So I'm not saying that doesn't absolve LAFC completely, but we're acting like that's like easy.
Yeah, I think that the big takeaway for me is, like, I didn't think the defense was poor. I thought actually Tafari played well. I
like Tafari today. I like,
yeah.
I
that run back where he saved that breakaway was great.
I would love to see the team do more of this, and by more of this, I mean let the fullbacks get forward, let Tafari sort out the defense as a 2-man defense in space and in one-on-one opportunities. Like, the two guys that they were up against are very good and they're very strong. And I thought that they did a very good job, at least in the initial, like, when Austin played that long ball out to like Brandon Vasquez, like, Tafari stood his ground and they show some speed. So I think Steve can rely on them a little bit more in what would generally be, like, a lot of teams don't want their center backs going 1v1 with the opponent's forwards at midfield, because it's a dangerous opportunity and it's a big risk. But I thought that they were good in those risks, in those situations.
Yeah, I think I just want to echo what I'm seeing from a few people in the chat that aren't.
Yeah, Bouanga had a horrible game.
Bouanga, I mean, we just don't have any creativity up front, right? Bouanga gets the ball, tries to dribble through 4 people, loses the ball. He doesn't pass. It is incredibly frustrating to watch. Martinez had a bad game. I think when Abobasi and Under were out there, it felt like we had more chances. It felt like we were playing more smartly. But it's getting really frustrating to watch Bouanga force hero ball down everyone's throats, because it's not working right now.
There was that one last chance they had. Maybe it was the second one, I don't know, where Bouanga did what he normally does, but then passed to David Martinez, who was breaking right into the box, and inches the defender got a foot on it. And then Hollingshead, I think, had defender got a foot on that too on the follow-up. But that feels like that's what Boanga should be doing every time. Is like you just drew 3 guys on you. There should be someone cutting, and you should be
literally look at your teammate across the way, Under, that is like deciding, hey, if I pass that guy, then maybe my defender doesn't run with me. I can run beyond him, and then he can play me the ball back. I don't have to do it all by myself.
That was simultaneously so frustrating because it was so close, and because it was like we finally found it, but also because like what this is so obvious. Like, why haven't we seen this 30 more times this match?
Jeff Talk isn't on yet, you fucking commenters. He's not here. All right. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to be talking about this game either. Why are you being mean to us? Shut the fuck up. Stop
Keep
being
going.
mean to us.
Keep going. Roast us. We have super chats. Sorry to interrupt, Travis.
Oh yeah. No, I want to yell at the people who are nice enough to watch it.
Yeah. I want to pour gasoline on this by showing people who are supporting us. Daniel says, well, that was honestly worse than the Seattle game, but the worst thing we can do is be hyperbolic. That being said, the officiating is an issue in this game, man. Something has to change. Officiating, I mean, to me,
wait, how can you say that was the worst game and then say the worst thing we can do is be hyperbolic? Does he not know how that would work?
Well, worse than the Seattle game. We've only got a few to choose from.
The worst thing I've ever fucking seen. Also, calm down.
Oh, now we're roasting you guys.
Sorry, Daniel. You know I love you. It's Travis that hates you, but I had to do it.
I hate all of our fans today.
To me,
there isn't a single listener I like today.
To me, the officiating was terrible, but in a way that I've already accepted to expect.
I think there was a good amount of physicality that was used against us, and I felt like it was consistent. I wish we got some of those calls. I thought there was a world in which that could have been a penalty on Boanga in the first half. I don't necessarily, it didn't stand out to me. I bet if I was there, I would have been angrier at the ref because I always am. One thing I also want to say, Under was inches away from scoring a Carlos Vela goal where he brought it onto his left foot and curled it around the post. Like Under just made us look better, and he's the one takeaway I have from this game.
We've got another super chat and another.
Go for it before I crash out.
Loving Scorchers. Oh boy. Thank you, Loving Scorchers. He says, they say, I hate to let you know, but Ari has officially put LAFC on fraud watch. This club may be fraudulent. All of us have done the same. So
we've been on fraud.
I guess this isn't so insulting.
I mean,
we've been on fraud watch all season. I
think a lot of our listeners should just go watch Lobbing Scorchers. They're giving you the content you want.
Yeah.
What you want is anti-LAFC content.
No, I think
they're great at that.
I get the frustration from people. I just think I watched maybe a different game where like I've been saying from the beginning, even when we were winning 1-0, this team doesn't look good. It doesn't, and it's definitely not fun to watch. And I had fun watching the team in the first half. I thought we got scored on in a shitty way, but we were in control. It's what I had wanted to see. And then the minute the subs were made, especially when the front line was changed, things fell apart. And we became boring again. We could do nothing, and Boanga took over in a way that was super frustrating. I'm not making any excuses for this team. We've lost 3 in a row. This team certainly is not going to beat Miami in the Champions League.
Can we point out? Let's point out something and can we just make this a rule across the board? When we're saying stuff, it's not excuses. These are explaining the game. You guys literally come on this show to watch us explain what happened. And if you think that all we're doing is giving excuses, which by the way, I don't know who we're giving them to. I don't know. It's a pet peeve of mine that it gets ridiculous that we'll come on and be like, oh, this happened and this is how it happened. I think I saw it like this. And people are like, how dare you say sorry for that? And I'm like, I didn't do it.
Sorry to interrupt you, Vince. We have another super chat. Nice little counterpoint. Brian Panit says, remember when watching LAFC was fun to watch and not a chore? No, not really.
No, this has been my life.
A while ago.
I've been in this purgatory forever. This hell of
ever since we started this show.
Thank you so much for the super chat, though. All we can hope to do is make this show fun to watch.
We're very this literally last episode I started like, thank you everyone for listening to this show.
Yeah, you started this show. Fuck you for listening.
You guys fucking suck. I hate
another
all
super
of you.
chat. Oh my goodness, Travis, don't be silly. Winning is the most important thing. Who cares how we do it? Says Daniel once again.
I think some people care.
Daniel.
Because remember when we watched the NYCFC game? They won that game, right? Is my memory bad? A lot of people were pretty mad after that game.
That's
I
true.
don't remember. Oh yeah, that. But
I mean, we've had look. It's very fair to say we've had one. Look, they lost. It's frustrating. It sucks. That's totally reasonable. They've had one game this season that we can be excited about. As far as just the performance alone goes, take the results out of it. I think it's fair to say we're happy with a win when they win. We're frustrated with a loss when they lose. If you're just talking about the performance, the first leg against Columbus was fucking beautiful.
maybe our
And
only
everything else
really
has been
good
like,
game this
okay,
season.
they won, but this is a little shaky, or like they lost and that sucks. It's pretty simple. Should we just go home?
I'm home. I could turn my computer off right now. And
Yeah,
go to
I'm the
bed.
only one
like,
that I'm the only one that has to
figuratively.
leave. I gotta walk out. You know, if there was any LAFC people listening to this, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, they finally let Vince in, and he immediately gets shivved in the.
It's always a
you don't
possibility.
understand how hard it is at the LAFC press box. I mean, there's gangs. It's a whole situation.
Yeah, it's like the Warriors.
There's a lot of cigarettes being snuck in and out.
Illicit drug use.
Mm-hmm. What else?
We got more super chats, Darren.
Oh my goodness, we're going through them all. Lisa Kushida, thank you so much for the super chat. Like she says, like what was said on Swoon, we are missing the vibes guy, and that's why we should have kept Kamara. Yeah, I think the vibes guys that we've got. Okay, so David Martinez seems to
Not
be putting,
not vibing today.
We don't.
Yeah.
He looked like he was mad at himself.
Yeah, it seems like when he puts his head down and does the work in a way that we also want him to do more of, he sacrifices the vibes. So if the putting your head down and doing the work doesn't go well, then we're losing both. And I think Nkosi Tafari seems like a vibes guy off the field only, if I'm being honest. I don't know what else. Ordaz didn't really show up. Vibes, just like Debbie Martinez vibes or
Nkosi was
otherwise.
good. What I liked about Nkosi was like, while the rest of the guys were like, oh man, they're being really physical. Well, let me see if I can win a foul. And Nkosi's like, well, fuck this. I'm going ham on these guys. He was like double shoving dudes. And there was a couple of times where he didn't get called for it, and he kind of looked at the ref, and the ref was like, no, we're good. He's like, all right, I like this. So I'll give Nkosi some vibes credit. But he's new. You know, this was a big, I would say for him, this was a big moment, because we were talking about how Chanot isn't quite all the way there back. Segura, we haven't been totally stoked with. And for a new guy to come in and I think he put in a pretty good performance despite the loss. I think Steve seems like the type of coach where you got to earn trust. And I think he earned some trust today.
Henry Castillo, who just commented, absolutely jacked. Just want to say, looking good in your photo, my man. Ripped.
You want to say the comment or?
Oh, you just wanted to
No, I just was like,
feel
oh,
free
that
to give
looks
us
good.
your comments, and we'll comment on how you look, but not address the comment.
Well, I mean, he says we should be a little bit more optimistic. I think we're being too optimistic for what our listeners want at the moment. So I don't want to be any more optimistic. I'd rather
Henry,
not.
we're trying, but we also have our lives to live, and these people know where our social channels are. They can be really mean.
Well, Henry, if you're on our side, it seems like that's a really
well. He was
good
on our
thing.
side, but then he got mad because I said we're going to lose to Miami playing like this. And I agree. I stand by the fact that if we play like this, we're going to lose to Miami. But sure. I guess we'll see. We'll come back after the game, Henry. Actually, this is a great time to announce to everyone. This has been such a fun postgame to announce this on. We are giving away 2 tickets to the Inter Miami LAFC game for free to a Patreon subscriber. We're going to post a link. All you have to do is be a Patreon member and click a link on this launch page, whatever it's called. The instructions will be there, and it's all thanks to our friends at Amirian Law. Amirian Law. If you get personal injury, you got to go to Amirian Law. Is this what you want to hear halfway through this? All the stuff that you need to know about the giveaway will be on our social channels. And genuinely, thank you to Vaughn, who's an LAFC fan, who's donating
season
his
ticket holder.
Season ticket holder. He's given them to us to give away. If you ever need a personal injury lawyer, he's been doing it for 20 years. He gave us tickets. We're doing an ad read that I didn't write ahead of time. So please enjoy.
We'll learn a valuable lesson from this. We promise.
That will be exciting. I think this is a good way to ensure that those tickets go to good hands, which I'm sure is a controversial situation going on with a lot of people who are not happy with today's game or any of the other games so far. I know that when I get injured, I say, "Ow, I'm having a personal injury." That's what I do. If you
Wait, are you somehow bringing it back to that? Wow, Darren, that was a
that was my
Sorry to
favorite part
interrupt.
of it.
So sorry to interrupt, Darren. We do have another super chat from our good friend Tim Morgan, $4.99. Sadfoot, another team's podcast crew is talking smack in our thread, hashtag lobbing scorchers out. Lobbing scorchers, our good friends from Seattle, are always welcome in our chat.
We actively
not as sad as our own
encourage.
fans talking shit on us.
It's so-
Seriously.
It's so
Come on.
funny. I'm always like, we like when people troll us, and then it's happening today, and I'm like, I fucking hate all of you.
I say that we like when we get trolled, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm
Yes.
following through.
We're just doing our best.
But yeah, we
It's Saturday
actively
afternoon.
encourage other shows to troll us on our show, and they are doing so.
Yeah, we're looking at you,
and
extra
because
time.
we deserve it,
Too soon.
as you say, we do. Other people who are fans of our team, I think it's what we deserve after that game.
Let's talk a little bit about Ilie, but then I want to bring Kirk from Counterpress on, who is here and tends to know a lot about soccer, certainly more than me and Darren. But Amanda says Ilie came over to our section to say thank you and look me right in the eyes and makes me feel like I've been blessed by the Pope today. Ilie, Vince, what was the vibe with Ilie in the stadium?
They gave him a very nice introduction pregame, and everyone clapped. And that was nice. That was sweet. That's a good moment. Right after the game, Steve, head of security, Paul, a lot of guys immediately went over to Ilie, and there's some nice embraces. And yeah, to Amanda's point, he clearly was emotional after the game. This is a special place to him, so it was cool to see him here. Although, if he would have listened to Darren and done the right thing, made the smart choice, we'd be in a whole different situation.
Yeah, what was that about?
He came close to scoring on us. How dare
I
he?
know. Ripping a
Yeah.
shot from the top of the box. What is he thinking? He doesn't do
Yeah,
that.
that's not
Yeah,
him.
that was really weird. That was a really maybe he misunderstood what I was saying or something.
Yeah, we got to get some lost in translation there. We got to get to him. We can maybe get to him earlier. Maybe we just put it out too late in the week.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Did we get Mike's message up on here?
Bring
No,
Kirk
not
on.
yet.
Bring Kirk on. He can talk about it at this point.
Yeah.
Great.
Kirk from the Counterpress Pod. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Any happy feet or sad feet from that beautiful match?
First happy foot is Under. I think, like Vince said,
You kind of look like Gunder.
I don't know how to take that.
I think Gunder's a good looking guy.
In the way you play. We've watched you play. We have.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm very Turkish. And Travis, somebody needs to tell you that they love you. So I love you. I don't know why that's so hard to say for people.
Thank you so much.
It is difficult.
I-
Well,
I'm
only in post games.
I'm having a hard day.
Okay. Well, just trying to set a good example for you. Vince. You can say it in most games, it's all right. It's him, right? And like Vince said, it gives you a different dimension to your attack, which is everything that they have. Like you guys have been talking about, is Bawanga through the back line into space. But as you see when they play a team that's happy to pack the box and just say, break down a 4-4-2, good luck. Everybody's frustrated at Bawanga because he's just running at guys. And you have him being pocketed by a guy named Owen Wolf, who I'm pretty sure is just a nepotism hire at Austin, right? He's like a holdover from when his dad was the coach.
He works really
So
hard. Give him
what's
a
that?
break.
It's actually
He works really
harder.
hard.
It's harder
He works
when
really
your
hard.
dad's the coach.
Yeah, because you have to work
Okay.
against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah, that's true. The sad foot is just that, they can't break down a team when they don't have the ball, and that's not LAFC's game, right? LAFC is happy to put a few numbers behind the ball and invite a team into their half so that they have space to attack once they get it to Bawanga. And I think that's what makes the midfield actually work, is when they can play an easier ball in behind an opposing back line. And they just don't have it when a team packs it in. And I don't know that that's going to change, because I don't know who you bring in to fix that. that internal problem. I really don't.
I mean, we saw Under in his first start, right? And it looked clear.
Yeah.
It was clear that he only had 60 minutes in his leg. So
Yeah.
you would assume he's going to get stronger. I think ultimately you've got to, I mean, and they'll go over tape, but you got to sit Denny down and be like, you see what this guy's bringing? Do you see what he's doing? Like, again, maybe you lay the ball off to Markey and then he'll, from the top of the box, play you into the box. Like, to your point, like they were definitely packing the box, but LAFC had quite a lot of box entries. Bouanga being guilty of almost every single one in terms of like, I'm in the box now. What do I do? Oh, there's 5 guys around me. So it's like, I don't think this team will ever be a team that's like a Man City or even like an Inter Milan, or Antonio Conte loves to play this way where he's like, guys, when the ball goes here, this guy moves here, then this guy does this, then this guy does this. Like they have automatons, they have mechanisms. That's just not the way Steve coaches teams. He prefers not to. He wants to leave a lot of creativity and freedom up to the players. And he's not alone. Like, don't get me wrong when I'm saying this, like people are like, see, that's why I hate that guy. But like, this is how a lot of coaches around the world will do it. They have very strict parameters defensively and against the ball, but basically then they go like, look, you're Denny Bouanga, you're Cengiz Ünder. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You know what to do. But it's going to take, I think it's one of those things where, and people are going to hate this, it's going to probably be painful until they figure it out. Or like last year, sadly, maybe they revert to just being that full counter team, which I would hope not, because I don't think that's going to get anything out of Ünder. We already know what it does to Giroud, but Under's not really going to play in that type of environment very well.
I was excited for, I want to say like the first 20 minutes of the game, watching the way Under passed the ball and seeing how well we were flowing. If we could get, say, a superstar midfielder, we would know how to pass the ball a little bit better. But again, we can't have them both, right? Like that's the other thing that scares me, is that Under is the hope for us right now, and he probably is gone by August, unless we can figure out a way to buy him. But I just feel like even in that case, that means Griezmann's not coming, right? So we're in a weird situation as a club right now, and it certainly doesn't feel great to be an LAFC fan right now.
Can I ask you?
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say about Under that the combination between him and Palencia and Tillman, I thought looked good. I realized, like you said, that Tillman's the punching bag of the moment, but like, that combination down the right wing can actually do something for you. And maybe it'll tilt the field to the right, and then you can find Denny open if you can manage to switch play, which I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have that in the bag for a little while, like Vincent. But for now, that's something that you can definitely build on.
A man pretending to be Mark Delgado in our chat just said, off note, but Griezmann is set to have an important meeting with Atletico this week, and talks with LAFC have progressed. Thank you so much, person cosplaying as our starting midfield.
Our starting midfielder, who is like super interested.
Who's now a super agent as well.
Yeah. I was going to ask, we kind of went into this match expecting it to be a matchup of Austin, who wants the ball, and us, who doesn't mind that Austin has the ball, and then we ended up having most of the possession. Was that more our game plan or theirs being imposed?
I think they're happy to give away the ball when they're away. I think anytime you see somebody with like 71%, it's like pretty clear, right? And Austin, you can see it in the way that they're pressing. They're in that 4-4-2 shape. They're happy to just like let the game come at them a little bit, and they won the bet. I don't know, Vince, what did you see there?
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit. Like, I think Austin has a lot of problems they have to fix. And their defense was probably obviously they had this problem. Their defense was leaky and they couldn't score goals. Probably like the 2 worst problems you could possibly have as a soccer team, right? So I think Nico Estevez, in his tenure, everywhere he's gone, has liked to have the ball. But in this moment, like you said, they're away from home. They've had 2 results go against him. He got his team on board, and probably throughout the week was like, guys, this is what we're going to do this week. And it was very clear that they were drilled in this 4-4-2, and they were absolutely going to not want the ball. But I think we'll see games this year where Austin really will dominate a lot of possession, especially as their front line comes good. Because like, you got a guy like Bukhari, who is an incredible dribbler, incredibly fast. Brandon Vasquez is not a guy that you would expect to just sit there and try to help out your team in a 4-4-2. Like, he wants to be in the box and he wants to be finishing chances. So I think it's a lot easier to put into place a defensive structure, and I think that's what he's doing first, and then they'll get to the other stuff. But in terms of game plan for this one, it was a really good game plan, and then you have to give credit to the players. Like, they executed. There's ways in which this could have gone wrong. Like, LAFC did have a lot of the ball and probably had moments, but Austin executed. So really great game plan, I think, from Nico Estevez for this week.
Marvin Mejia says, do you guys think we could beat Inter Miami based on what we've seen so far? I feel like I've said that I don't think a team playing this way can beat a team as good as Inter Miami. How are you guys feeling?
I don't know. I don't understand Inter Miami, because like Messi doesn't play and they still win. So I honestly don't know. I like a lot of games. I kind of go into it like understanding the way LAFC plays and understanding the way the other team plays, but my Inter Miami, which I guess is a compliment to them, is very Real Madrid-like. Like, they are just kind of vibes, like no tactics, just like, hey, you guys are very talented. Go figure it out. I do think Mascherano does give them a little bit of bite, and he wants them to be a little bit more aggressive against the ball. But watching them so far, it's literally just like they get two guys that like get ahead of steam all of a sudden, pass through the entire team, and then a dude finishes like a banger. And yeah, so if they play like that, like they're going to beat not just LAFC, they're going to beat a lot of teams. I don't necessarily know what you do to counteract that.
Kirk, how you feeling?
I think Miami's a team that you probably can catch out a little easier, like you did with Columbus. I don't think you win any matches against them 3-0. I think it's more likely to be 3-2 one way or the other.
7-6. Yeah.
God, I hope not. Your chat room's really going to be on fire if that happens.
Yeah.
But can they? Yeah, they can. If they play it safe enough, but take the right risks. Another thing I like that you said, Vince, was like, go ahead and push up the fullbacks a little bit higher. And like a 4-3-3 is designed to beat a 4-4-2 mid block, right? But you have to have fullbacks involved, and you have to take the chance on your center backs that they're going to get the job done against those two strikers. Against Miami, I don't like that plan at all. Against Austin in a league match, yeah, go for that. Try it out. But I think they're going to have to play it safe against Miami. And who knows? Who knows if Messi plays or not? I mean, if that's the case, then like, I'm sorry, Ryan Hollingshead, like it's just going to be a long day for you. But
just in case he plays,
I like Hollingshead.
Just in case he plays, make sure you become a Patreon subscriber so you could sign up to potentially win free tickets from us and the good folks at Amirian Law. We'll post that link right after the live stream. Kirk, thanks so much for being here. If people want to listen to your show, how do they do it?
It's called The Counter Press. You just hop on the podcast app that you like and find it there. The handle's at @counterpress_. You'll find us tweeting mean things about Aaron Long on Twitter.
Well, and how dare Jeff Talk say he's not interested in counter press? How dare he?
I know. The knives are sharpened. So you better get me out of here before he comes on today.
Great to see you, Kirk.
Yep.
We have a couple of callers waiting. I don't want to do this anymore. How are you guys feeling about calling it? It's just like it's 45 minutes in. We've talked about a lot of this. I just am like, I feel fine about this. We did 2 hours last time. We don't have to do that this time. People are mad at each other in the chat. The vibes are bad. I don't think we got to keep this going.
We did beat this game kind of to death. I mean, no offense to the callers, but I don't know what more. We've covered it from a lot of angles.
And we love when people call. I want to stop is what I'm saying.
Okay. Travis wants to be clear. No, leave no ambiguation to this at all. He's saying he just doesn't want to do it anymore. And I'm with him.
I think the only thing left would be completely unrelated to anything useful, which we've done plenty of.
I do need a nap. The other thing is I'm hungover. I shouldn't be doing this. My serotonin's gone.
Wow.
Listen,
we're not pacing ourselves.
I said a new standard. Yeah.
We're not doing 2 hours.
Look, this has been.
I mean, I'm hearing a vacuum in the background. So literally, they're cleaning up the stadium.
They're waiting. It's to lull you in a sense of security, so they could jump you when you leave the room, Vince. All right. Well, we're gonna call it there. Please remember to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers by May. We're usually nicer and more pleasant to deal with than we are today. I also will say we're going to announce the winner of that Miami ticket giveaway on live during the postgame of the San Diego match. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the winner announcement. I hope we win, so that's a more of a celebratory postgame. But look, I love you all. Sorry I yelled at everyone. I'm tired. Fair. I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.